Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show, Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in the pop culture space. So that's movies, TV shows, video games. We do a little speculation and news, all that fun stuff. I am Morley Poupe, your resident fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And I'm joined by the video game designer, anime expert, and of course, lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. Ladi, how you doing this evening?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Ready to talk about some of this news, talk about Hawkeye, and talk about the shenanigans that Marvel's doing. So,
That's right. We're doing Hawkeye this week. It's the Hawkeye dropped this week, so we're gonna review the first two episodes, and in honor of that, we're calling this episode "Two Hawkeyes in a Pear Tree." So- and it makes sense. It's all very seasonal. So, but before we get that, as always, we're gonna talk about some news, and this has been a pretty busy news week all the way around. In particular, we have to talk about No Way Home, how it's blowing up the box office and box office websites. Amy Pascal talks about the future of Spider-Man in the MCU. Are Loki and Sylvie and Mobius in Doctor Strange 2? We're going to find out. We see some fans are boycotting the new Hawkeye over Marvel Must Pay, something we've been talking about recently. We're going to cover that. Some more No Way Home stuff. Is Tobey Maguire in there? We're going to find out from some promotional material. Marvel is really important to Disney Plus. We're going to talk about the numbers and why that is true. There's that DC League of Super Pets trailer, and we're going to talk about it briefly. Is Charlie Cox in? Is he in the MCU? Uh, more rumors, more rumors. We can't seem to stop talking about Charlie Cox, so we're going to cover that. There was a little bit of or there seems to be a little bit of a battle over the X-Men over at Disney with Kevin Feige, and what does that mean for the future of the X-Men? And we're going to see what Stellan Skarsgard has to say about comic book movies and his take on other people talking about comic book movies. All of that, and of course, the Hawkeye review. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. But so Lottie, let's get in here and let's talk about all this news.
hmm
All right, so starting from the top, this again, long list, y'all. Bear with us. We're gonna get through this. Uh, Charlie Cox has been talked about. I say than more than Spider Man No Way Home. People are like, is he in No Way Home? That's his arm, man. He's gonna defend. He's gonna defend Peter Parker. That's been the rumor, right?
yeah,
That he is totally showing up in No Way Home. But after that, then they started talking about, oh, maybe he's going to be in, She Hulk, and then there's going to be a Daredevil season 4. So over at InsideTheMagic.net, which is I guess a Disney Insider sort of like website, they're talking about not only is he going to be in the MCU, he's got 4 projects that Daredevil, Charlie Cox is going to be in. And so the ones I've already mentioned, No Way Home, they're saying he's definitely in that. But also, yes, he's definitely in She-Hulk because She-Hulk's a legal comedy, and that yes, there is going to be a Daredevil show. Um, and the fourth one, if I can scroll down and find it properly, it looks like he's going to be showing up supposedly in the Echo show.
hmm
And Echo, if you watched Hawkeye, Echo was introduced at the very tail end of the second episode. And so this is a character that in the comics came from Daredevil into the Marvel Universe proper. Um, Look, Lottie, at this point, like, is there any more? Can we just go ahead and just be like, all right, I guess something is happening with this guy? Because how many insiders are going to keep saying that this guy's going to show up in the MCU?
okay. First, I'm going to go off topic, then I'm going to go on topic. This is just for a few seconds. If Charlie Cox show up in the MCU and has a Daredevil TV show, I demand Hit Monkey season 2, damn it. I demand Hit Monkey season 2. If this shit happens, you better have Hit Monkey season 2 already repped and
I
going.
demand live action Hit Monkey.
Yes. If he could get back into the
Wait
MCU,
a
damn
minute,
it,
wait.
I want Hit Monkey.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now. Live action Hit Monkey, Andy Serkis doing the mocap for Hit Monkey.
Yes.
You're okay? All right,
Yes.
just saying. But yeah, go ahead though.
So, in all seriousness, at this point, just this is back to what we're going to talk about later in the show. Marvel, stop the shenanigans. He's in the MCU, damn it. Just say it. I don't know why we just. I don't know why Marvel's just like, shush, don't tell anybody. Keep it quiet. What is this? I mean, at this point, it's almost like it's almost like it's trying to keep a bad secret. It's like imagine like it's like trying to tell because we're in the season, we're in that time of year. It's like still trying to convince your kid that Santa Claus exists after they saw you take their toy out of your back out of your trunk. Wait. Santa put this here? Come on, Marvel. At this point, just introduce him to be part of because it doesn't make any sense. Like real talk, like I was telling people this like last week that everybody was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know Jamie Foxx was going to be in this movie." I said he was introduced over a year ago, and they're like, "What?" I said, yeah, he was introduced back in 2019. He was going to be in Spider-Man. So, like, why was he introduced? But they don't want to introduce everybody. It's weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why was Jamie Foxx already confirmed to be in the next Spider-Man movie? Back all the way back in 2019 when Far From Home was not even out yet. Like it doesn't make any sense how Marvel tries to keep certain things secret, but oh hey, by the way, this guy's in the movie. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? It just does not like good example. Keeping what's her name could have been a good secret to keep. The woman who plays Ironheart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have been a good secret to keep. But you introduce her way before what's it called? Still filming, but you already introduced her into the MCU. But why are you keeping this guy secret when literally every single breadcrumb is shown that he's in the? I don't know what to deal with Marvel anymore, man. Just doesn't.
I think that they like honestly, it's it's all good for Marvel. They don't have to confirm anything because we're sitting up here talking about rumors, the same damn rumors we've been talking about, for months. So
Yeah.
it's I mean there's no downside to them just to just wink and nod and move on. And Charlie Cox is not like it's not like he's anything in anything right now. So people are constantly asking him questions about this. It's not like he's like, Toby Maguire, not Toby Maguire, but Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield's he's answering questions because he's promoting something, but this guy isn't. So I think if anything, Charlie Cox is doing the smartest thing, which is shutting the fuck up and letting that bag fall into his lap. Because because I already told you, Kevin Feige loved Daredevil. That's my understanding. He loved Daredevil.
You better
So
love
he
Hit Monkey too.
so you and Hit Monkey. So he's ready to drop a bag right in Charlie Cox's lap. So I mean he's just being quiet and letting that shit come to him. So um, I'm inclined to believe something's happening. I don't know if four things is correct, but I'm inclined to believe that something. At least She-Hulk probably is most likely, and maybe we'll get another Daredevil. And I'm hopeful. So we'll find out. Look, I guess we're just going to do this. Every time something about Charlie Cox in the MCU shows up, we're going to talk about it. So you guys strap in for the next week, and the week after that, the week after that, when we get more rumors. So
Yep.
when we do, we'll talk about it. So next time. Moving on. Speaking of Disney, Disney Plus and Feige. This is just a short little thing. Supposedly, there's some behind the scenes drama going on at Disney, and I'm not going to blame this on Bob Chapek. I'm just going to blame it on upper executives who just really want to get the bang for their buck. So they bought uh, Fox just so they not just so they could get X-Men. That's actually not the reason why they bought it all. They bought it because there's a ton of IP um, with Fox, and part of it was X-Men. So supposedly there's a disagreement going on about whether or not they do a movie or they do a TV show. And it seems that Kevin Feige is, um, I think, very astutely leaning towards and really fighting for an X-Men TV show on Disney Plus, whereas other executives are looking at that box office cheddar and they're like, we need an X-Men movie because let's be honest, if there's an X-Men movie that comes out, it doesn't matter if somebody says it's trash. It doesn't matter if David Hasselhoff plays Professor X. It does not matter if Kevin Hart uh, is Wolverine. It does, none of that shit matters. If there is an X-Men movie, period, it's gonna make at least $600 or $700 million straight up. So
Yeah.
they're seeing that cash and they want a movie. And so my question is, why is Kevin? Well, I guess the real question is Kevin Feige right, and why is he? So, so Lottie.
I mean, yes. I mean, why is this even a debate? I mean, this is like saying it's like trying to debate is chocolate good? Like, of course, he should want an X Men movie. I mean, duh.
Well, I guess my question is, who? I guess maybe the question is, who is more correct here? Is Kevin Feige correct about saying let's have a TV show, let's have a series
Oh, a TV show. Oh
versus
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
movie?
yeah, 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 yeah. I would say a TV show first because I feel like right now some people are sort of because I agree they should make an X Men movie, but I would introduce it as a TV show first because I feel like some people are a little fatigued of X Men. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like the you should only put these three characters in the X Men should appear inside of a it could be in a movie. Is Wolverine, Deadpool, and I guess you could split it between Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah, I mean
Should
those have to. Deadpool
they,
more as a like a fan favorite, but
yeah,
Wolverine, Professor X, Magneto, and
they
then
should appear in a movie. But the other X Men, I feel like I would enjoy a TV show a little bit more than a movie because I feel like this is what I constantly like try to tell people this about X Men compared to Marvel. X Men is almost like its own comic book. That like they're in their own world, and I'm not saying it's not an interesting story. It's just when it comes to the X Men, like I said, the only people that are part of the X Men story that are like really compelling in the other parts of Marvel is Wolverine, Doctor Professor X, Magneto. I mean, of course you have Wanda, so that is
but she's not
not
really
a
she's not gonna be a mutant, I don't think.
yeah. So we know that. So and what's it called? And of course Deadpool. Besides that, you know what I mean? It's like I said, it's this own little world, and I feel like they should keep it in there. They should keep it like regulated to a TV show for now, and then make it into a movie later on.
All
I
right.
would like to see an X Men movie, but I think they need to rehabilitate their image first. Because if I feel like if they came out with an X Men movie next year or 2 years from now, I don't think it would do as well. Because let's just be honest, the last couple of X Men movies have sucked donkey balls.
Yeah. Well,
You
I
know,
mean, X-Men Days of Future Past is pretty good, but
Yeah, but that was like what? You got to think about that. What was that, like 6 years ago?
that was before Dark. So that was
That was like 2014.
Apocalypse, and then Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah,
7 years ago,
I,
man.
I
That's
I think the main deal here is not just trying to tell a good story, but trying to tell a story in the proper format. I think we just saw, just saw Eternals, which is somewhat X-Men-y in terms of like the sheer number of people that have to be introduced, and in my opinion, one of the main weaknesses of that movie was having too many people that you have to
Mhm.
introduce and make real character. They're trying to make everyone into a real person that 3 dimensional and everything. Whereas in the X-Men movies, the ones we know and love from back in the day, only about 4 people are really well developed, and everyone else is sort of a side character that you see a little bit of. And
Mhm.
in any given movie, 4 or 5 people are the main characters, and other people are just sort of peripheral. And that's true of X-Men storytelling in general. So if that's the way you're going to do the movie, fine. But I think Feige is looking more at a long term plan, wherein every X-Men or every X-Men character can potentially be an important character. And then it's also about how do you choose your favorite kid out of the 1,000 kids.
Mhm.
There's Because in some people, and if you were a 90s kid that watched X-Men in the 90s, you love Jubilee, but she is nowhere to be seen, except maybe one time in the movies, right?
Yep.
She's not important, but she's super popular, and you know what I'm saying, Nightcrawler, very popular. So how do you choose who is who? And I think that having a TV series to essentially educate people on who the hell the X-Men are and why you should care about them being in the MCU and where the hell have they been, all that stuff, giving them like 7, 8, you know, 9 episodes to explain all of that and to lead into a movie. That seems to be the way that Marvel wants to work. They're spinning out of and into movies.
Yep.
And so if that's the case, the other thing is, what the fuck? Does the man have to show his resume to you? He can point at 23 movies averaging $1 billion. That Just let the man do what he do. That's
Yep.
all. Just stop. Stop. He knows what he's doing. Just, no further discussion needed. So
I
so
completely
we'll
agree.
we'll find out more. We'll see how it turns out. Who's got the juice here when they announce X-Men. Moving on, we got the League of Super Pets trailer, which I took some time to sit and watch it. Um, this is The Rock, Kevin Hart, and then a bunch of other people who I don't feel like looking up their names right now, but it's an animated movie about the superpower pets. And actually, I like this trailer because it showed it's not just Crypto is a super pet sidekick, but all of the other pets are apparently they've gotten superpowers somehow. The same way you might get superpowers if you were just randomly hit by a radioactive rock or something like that. So it's Crypto sort of leading
Mhm.
a motley crew of shelter pets who now have
Mhm.
superpowers to save the Justice League. Um, so I watched the trailer. I think a lot of you watched at least some of the trailer. So I don't know what you think about it.
I mean, it's a good like family movie. I mean, I don't think I will rush to go see it, but it's something that I would like sit down one day at my TV, just say, you know what? I want to see Crypto take a bite out of crime.
Yeah, you know what it made me
Is
think.
Ace Ace in this? Is
It
Ace in
is,
there?
but I don't think he starts as Ace. I think it seems like he's one of the shelter pets, and he does have
Okay.
superpowers. Apparently,
Well,
that's
he
the
has
one. Well,
superpowers
that's the one. The whoever Kevin Hart is playing is has superpowers, but it's like
because Ace is Batman's dog.
yeah. It's what in this. I don't think. I think Crypto's literally the only one that is a super pet, and then like these other ones get a power.
Oh, they get
Uh,
power because
it,
crypto is actually from Krypton.
yeah, and so
Yeah,
this actually made me think of like, oh, this is the secret life of pets, but like
pets.
secret life of super pets. But it's even not
Yes,
even really that because again, shelter pets, and they all have various like there's a turtle that's got super speed and
but I
that
mean, in just let's have this conversation.
okay.
In DC mainly, can there be a secret life of pets? Because motherfucker, one of the main villains of DC is a fucking gorilla.
Well, I think he would have a problem with you saying he's a pet.
No, but I mean, like, you can't really be. I would in the DC world, if you are surprised that a dog is fucking talking to you, you need to be fucking slapped. Like, it's one of those things. It's like living in New York and a building blows up, and you still scream. You should be like, at this point. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like, yeah,
you should really be
uh,
saying, "Why the fuck do I live in New York City again?
yeah.
What am I doing with my life? That I'm
I'm
choosing to be
surprised.
here."
I'm surprised nobody in like New York City doesn't have like real like just going a little bit off topic. Why hasn't Tony Stark assholeness has not sold like many Iron Man suits to protect people that live in New York? This fucking asshole. Like he should give
Oh,
everybody that
well,
lives
you know what? That they're gonna answer. They're gonna probably address something to that effect in the Armor Wars TV show. I
because there should be some
I
like if
mean,
you think
well,
about it.
it's that's a. I hate to say this. That's a terrible idea.
No,
Having Iron Man armor just around.
No, I
So,
mean like
so that
not
it
like
could.
no,
So,
not like Iron Man armor, like mini iron suits, like something that would just protect them. Not like giving them like Iron Man straight up suit. Something that would like when a building falls, they won't get fucking squished to dust. You
right.
know what I mean? It would be like something that could like good example. Like the people who live in Godzilla's world, you see how they have contingency plans for any time a kaiju attack happens, they immediately know how to get the fuck out of Dodge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why hasn't in Marvel or DC people? Why don't they have contingency plans for that? They just sit there and just go like, "Oh my god, get aliens for the 1 billionth time!" Ah!
I I think you're asking you're asking too many questions, too many detailed questions. That's that's I this regarding this trailer. It looks cute, but I also think it looks like it's not necessarily aimed at me. I
Yeah.
think it's aimed at as you said, it's a family friendly thing. That said, I am gonna watch this. Obviously, I will go see this because I mean it's a DC thing. Why the heck not? But it's clearly aimed at. But if I think if they do it right, if they do it like aim it as Pixar ish, you know, the Incredibles ish sort of that kind of vibe, Secret Life of Pets, this thing could like really blow up. So I'll be interested. I want to see another trailer before I pass more judgment. So we'll let you guys know when we see more on the League of Super Pets. Hey, Lottie, I'm gonna give you some super surprising news. You ready? You
Mm-hmm.
ready? It's just hold on, put a hat on so you don't blow the top of your head off with this revelation. Um, Marvel's very important to Disney Plus. There, I
Mm-hmm.
said it. Like ring the alarm. Disney Plus needs really really wants Marvel. uh, some numbers came out with regards to viewership. Actually, it was a viewership and audience survey, and the audience survey essentially was like, uh, is Marvel one of the main reasons you have Disney Plus? And like the vast majority of people like, heck yeah. They're like, but they also said, is this the only thing you watch? You only here for Marvel? And they're like, nah, we're here for other stuff, but we also really do watch Marvel. Surprise! Like,
Yep.
there's let me say there's a reason that Marvel put 5 things on Disney Plus this year. I mean, this is
Yeah.
I would say this has been one of the main strategies of Disney Plus. Again, I know you're hugely surprised by this revelation, Lottie. But do you think you can work through your surprise to give me your thoughts on on Marvel and its importance to Disney Plus.
I mean, there's a reason why the evil mouse has shackled Spider. Well, he has not shackled Spider Man. Captain America down in Disney World and will keep him frozen and animated. There's a reason for this. Not DC, Disney loves themselves some Marvel. And Marvel is what makes them the buku bucks. Because let's just be honest. When I think of Disney Plus, I do not think of Mickey Mouse. I do not think of Goofy. I do not think of any of that Disney stuff. I think of Marvel. You know, when I first heard that they were making Disney Plus, you know what the first thing I thought? Movies. First thing I thought. Did not think about no Mickey Mouse, House of Mouse, or any of the Disney princess movies. I'm like, somebody got it on DVD and I could watch it eventually. But those Marvel movies, I won't be able to stream them. Damn it. And that's what Marvel, that is what Marvel wants. They caught everybody, every man by the balls and every woman by the tits. They got you. And you can't escape. They got you. They won't let you go. Every time that you think that, oh man, that was a good show of Marvel. Oh man, I think I'm gonna take a rest for a while. Wait, another show of Marvel came out? Like, nani? Like, the reaction to everybody that I was telling them, like during Thanksgiving, people were like, "Oh man, what you about to do for the rest of the day?" It was like 9 o'clock at the time. I was like, "Yeah, I'm about to watch some Hawkeye." Wait, that's out? And they were like, "Oh shit, we're gonna sit my whole family down to watch the movie." You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that they have turned Marvel into a sit down TV show is just I mean,
It's event
it's a
TV.
test.
That's what. Yeah, it's event TV now.
It is a testament what Kevin Feige has done by grabbing us all men by the balls and women by the tits. You know, this cast is not sexist, so both genders can get it. They got us all, and they won't let go. They
Yeah.
won't let go, and
And what
it,
it just you want to, if you want to put it into some perspective, I don't know if you saw how they did an earnings report. Disney did an earnings report a week ago, a week or two ago, and they were like, "Oh, our Disney Plus subscriber rate has sort of tapered off. It's kind of tapered off a bit, so they're not growing with leaps and bounds like they were before, and they didn't meet their estimates for subscriber growth. And you know what that did? You don't now,
mhm,
mind you, Disney Plus is kicking ass in terms of subscriptions, right?
yeah.
They grew their subscriber base fast.
I think Disney
But
Plus
that's
has.
but what I'm just saying, when they didn't meet that it messed up, their stock price went down because that's the kind of growth that their investors are expecting from Disney Plus. And it's all about, and the trust, Marvel's doing most of this work. Like for real, they're doing most of the work because Star Wars hadn't had anything out this year, right? And they're not going to until the very end of the year. There's some Pixar stuff, there's some movie stuff, but pretty much Disney's Plus's interest has been driven by Marvel. So again, gigantic surprise. I'm sure no one was expecting to hear that news, but
Mhm.
uh, that's why I think that Kevin Feige had actually wields a shit ton of power at Disney because he runs that studio that is bringing in you know the views and the dollars, and it's important to note these things. So, but
Mhm.
yes, when we have more no shit news about this, I'll be sure to make sure we talk about it in the future. Um, we're gonna talk about some No Way. Let's just talk about No Way Home. This is like the gigantic spider elephant in the room, and so a little bit. It is. First, let's talk about how it fucking messed up all sorts of like websites. I got in line to on my phone and on my computer to try to get tickets last night. Was not successful, even though I did get my tickets first thing when I woke up this morning. Ironically, like two seats down from where I really wanted it. But the point is, tickets went on sale at 12:01 on the 29th. So Monday morning, 12:01, and it proceeded to fuck up every online ticket seller, like straight up. I don't know if I'm not know how closely you watched this, Lottie, but I'm not kidding. Like, people were refreshing. It was a distributed denial of service attack based on people just actually trying to get some damn tickets. And my only comment about this is, bitches, this happened with Endgame. What the fuck? That's my comment. So, what about you, Lottie?
Let me. It's 2021, guys. Why the fuck are websites still crashing over? I don't fucking understand. It's just not with the tickets. It's with technology, video games, all this shit. You knew this shit was going to happen. Why? I just do not understand. It doesn't make no fucking sense.
Well, you know what it is? I think the Ethernet cord was like a string connected to two like tin cans. So that's
It
probably
just doesn't make no fucking sense, man. When a multiplayer game, what happens every time when a multiplayer game first comes out? The server crashed. How the fuck does that happen? Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. It's 2021, guys. Wake the fuck up. Like, this shit should not be happening. I don't give a fuck. AMC should not be crashing. Walmart should not be crashing. Newegg, Amazon should not fucking crash. How does this shit happen? It makes no damn sense. Multi-billion-dollar corporations that you know that you're about to get all this traffic at this time. You set yourself up for this damn shit. You put the time out there. You knew this shit was gonna happen. How the fuck did your shit crash? Like, it makes no damn sense. It is just a disgrace at this point. Like, it literally makes no sense.
Well, at least it's a disgrace across the board. So you can't even be like, oh, AMC or Regal or
well, it's just
Fandango.
everybody.
I mean, like, I'm not kidding. Any place you could buy tickets online were like hella slow. They were people were just having all sorts of problems to the point of I saw a tweet. Somebody was like, just go up to your local AMC. And I'm like, bitch, it is 1 a.m. I'm not leaving any place to go get no damn ticket. I don't care. I was like, I'll see this bitch on Saturday. I don't care. I'm not that invested, but other people are. Some people did go up. It is ridiculous, but it
makes no damn sense, bro. It just makes no sense.
It also shows you they haven't released the numbers, but it's probably going to be some kind of pre-sales record or something like that. Everyone wants to see this fucking movie. That's just the truth. Everybody wants to see it, and so much so that it looked like the hackers were doing a big old distributed attack. Nope, it's just people want to see Spider-Man. It just is. So, yeah. Continuing on with the No Way Home stuff.
More shenanigans.
Hey, is Tobey Maguire gonna be in No Way Home? Well, there's some promo material. Look, so this is the time, right? Like right before a movie comes out, all sorts of toys and tie-ins and shit like that comes out. And look, Kevin Feige can't stand over the shoulder of every graphic artist and make sure that they don't put shit in that gives the game away. And honestly, at this point, I really want to be like, Kevin Feige, is this a good use of your time right now? Everyone knows they're in this fucking movie. And by the way, I could be completely wrong about this, and this is the biggest bait and switch possible, so I could be wrong, but we know that they're in this fucking movie. And we get more evidence because there's a little bit of promotional material. I don't know if it's a toy or something like that, where it shows Tom Holland's Spider-Man, right? And then if you look there's a little sliver where the graphic artist, for some stupid reason, did cut it out. He clearly clearly was photoshopping several images and together into this interesting little collage. And you see just kind of peeking up over like, hey guys, he's got just his eye. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He's just like, hey, I'm in this. Just he may as well have just taken the damn taken the damn mask off and just waved. Uh, look, my comment is just enough. Like you were saying earlier, enough of this. Just stop doing this. Stop pretend. I mean, just stop acting like this shit isn't happening. It's happening. Stop acting
Yeah,
like it's not happening.
it just doesn't. At this point, it's just getting foolish. It's not even funny. It's just foolish at this point. Like
You know what it's
it,
like. You know what it's like. It's like that song by Shaggy. It wasn't. It wasn't me. It
me.
absolutely was
And
you.
it just. I mean, at this point, I was sitting in my office at work, and I just scrolled down the news. I was on my 15-minute break. I scroll down the news and look at my phone, and I see this shenanigans, and I just shake my damn head, and I'm just like, come on, man. At this point, just tell us he's in the movie, because at this point, there's nobody in the world that does not believe that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield aren't in this movie. Like, at this point, it's literally like the thing with Daredevil. It's funny. It's still kind of funny, but this one is just fucking foolish. Stop it. It just, I mean, the trailer clearly shows clearly
Look,
shows
to be
Lizard and what's his name clearly not going after Tom
yeah.
Holland's Spider-Man.
And,
It is so fucking obvious.
to be fair, and of course, Tobey Maguire's not running around and being like, "I'm not in this for real, though. I don't know what y'all are talking about." He's because he's not promoting anything. No one's asking him all these questions. He gets to be the cool. He gets to be the cool. The cool uncle.
Yeah.
And Andrew
Yep.
Garfield's just like he's just the uptight one. Like,
Yep.
so we saw that. Look, there he's gonna be in it. Just like enough of this
Yeah.
foolishness.
Yeah. It's
That's what we say.
just let it go at this point.
Yeah. Uh, continue on with Spidey talk. Amy Pascal, who's the long running producer on Spider Man stuff, go look it up. You'll see she's got producer credits all the way back on the first Spider Man, and every Spider Man since then. Well, she was talking about the future of Spider Man, because there's been this one idea like, oh, Spider-Man's gonna be leaving the MCU. There's a lot of people believing that that's true. A lot of people thinking, nah, no way. I've been of the opinion that doesn't make any sense because money talks, and the last Spider-Man made $1 billion, and I'll be damned if this one doesn't make $1 billion too, even with the pandemic. So, but what about what happens after? You got Tom Holland talking about, well, I'll do some more. I love Spider-Man, but I don't want to be doing this forever. um, hinting at like maybe he does, maybe he might not be the next Spider-Man. But y'all all know that's some bullshit, right? We all know
Yeah.
it's some bullshit. And to put to kind of underscore that, Amy Pascal said, "Hey, we are working on the next one, Spider-Man 4." Where she kind of caught herself talking about it, but basically it was just like we got another trilogy in mind. Tom Holland's still clearly the man, the Spider-Man. And then also sort of was like, it's not, there's stories to be told about, Miles Morales too. There's a hint at Miles Morales maybe, not necessarily saying straight out going to live action, but there has been rumors about live action Miles Morales. And then talk about crossing over the Spider-Verse and the MCU. Um, yeah, this none of this is definitive except that yes, they are working on the fourth Spider, which makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't they? And that Tom Holland seems to be on board for the foreseeable future. Um, I'm just all I again my comment here just seems to be hell yeah, more Spider-Man, more Spider-Man, more Spider-Man. I'll take it in any form they want to give it, especially like the animated Miles Morales stuff. Uh,
Mhm.
I know you love Spider-Man, so like this is first of all, is this surprising at all? And second of all, how what's your confidence level and how you feeling about future Spider-Man coming, clearly coming up.
I mean, my feeling on Spider-Man is, I'm just being honest. You can't. I like the MCU now. Don't get me wrong. I like the MCU. I like Iron Man, Captain America, and all these people. But man, listen, you can't have Marvel without Spider-Man. Just saying. I know he's owned by Sony, but Sony is not, Sony and Marvel are working together. You got to keep this. You got to keep the train going. You know what I mean? You might want to. You might take a couple of years breaks from between Spider-Man movies, but you got to keep that train going. You can't end the story of Spider-Man. It's like it's like as much as I say that DC pushes out Batman and Superman a lot, you can't have DC without Spider-Man, without Batman and Superman. I mean, well, DC's has been without Superman for a while now, but
And
we're
look
going
how
to get
well
a
that's
Superman movie.
working for them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They need Superman. They need a new Superman movie. A fucking sap. Just keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Spider Man is Marvel. So just keep it rolling. As long as Sony and Marvel, as long as Sony and Disney are okay, you ride that train until Disney pulls a rug underneath it. Because it's usually it's going to be Disney that's going to try to pull the shenanigans.
Right.
So you keep riding that train until Disney wants to pull the rug from underneath you.
Yep. I agree. And I've liked what Marvel and Sony have done together so far. So hell yeah, let's have some more. And I'm really glad that actually the people over at Sony that are managing Spider-Man have seemed to have taken good lessons from the MCU in terms of building their universe. So let's have some more. I'm all for it.
Mhm.
Um, so moving on to a little bit more rumors. We love our rumors around here. With very little information, let's talk about it. um,
Mhm.
Apparently, the stunt doubles for Tom Hiddleston, Sophia Di Martino, and Owen Wilson have shown up on the cast list for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Which, by the way, I don't know if you heard that they were going back to do some extensive reshoots. And in fact, Benedict Cumberbatch was like, "Yeah, we're reshooting some scenes we've already done, to kind of make them better, and shooting some
Mhm.
things we couldn't do because of, essentially saying we couldn't do certain things because of either limitations with the story. Maybe the story's been changed slightly to account for certain things that are happening in the world, or that some people weren't available, which does happen with movies where people aren't available for principal photography, so they come back for pickups.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there's this talk like, oh, maybe there's a lot of problems with it because they were having to do basically 2 more months of shooting. Um, and so all of that's going on. Then you get they're doing reshoots and now we have the uh, the stunt doubles for respectively Loki, Sylvie, and Mobius. Does this mean that those three characters are going to show up in Doctor Strange too? That's good. Are we going to see the TVA in Doctor Strange?
I would love for it to happen. I would love to see Loki and Doctor Strange have. Oh man, can you imagine the witty banter that they will have? Oh man, that would be fucking
Well, remember
blockbuster.
last time Loki and Doctor Strange met. Loki did not come out well out of that.
Yeah,
The last time we
this will
saw
be
them, yeah.
this will be very witty banter. I would love to see this. Sylvie, I mean, I hope if she shows up, she doesn't fuck some more shit up.
she's gonna
You know,
she's gonna Karen that shit like she did with with Kang, or not Kang, with he who remains. She wanted to
and
speak to,
now he
man.
is Kang.
If you think about it, that show was literally, I want to speak to your manager. The entire movie. I demand to
You
speak to
know,
the
real
manager.
shit. You are absolutely right. The whole entire wow, you broke down the whole entire Loki show to a Karen, a pissed off Karen, and it's like,
I demand a refund. He's like, what do you want me to do? Like, yeah, I don't, I know.
if you, it's like going up to it's she's literally is a Karen that was like mad at Amazon and went all the way up to Jeff Bezos, was like, hey, I want a refund. Hey, I can't give you a refund. There's only one thing you can do. You can either just be happy with what you have, or you could kill me. And if you kill me, a worse billionaire can take over and just destroy what
she,
we have.
she's
And
like,
she's
she's like, Jeff Bezos, like, trust me, you won't like the guy. And then it turns out like Harvey Weinstein is the guy that takes over for
or
yeah.
or Donald Trump.
I, I think that it would make sense, like, if they are getting at it. This again, these are just stunt doubles. They have not officially added any of the other principal actors. But if they do, it will make sense. It's the multiverse of madness. The TVA does have something to do with it, and also the TVA within at the end of Loki was clearly, they were a TVA that were having to deal with a multiverse that is blown up. You know, there, and so that TVA probably has run across Doctor Strange at some point. But we'll see. You know what? It's just
Mhm.
speculation. Sounds fun. I hope it's true. You know, I always hope when stuff like that is true, just because. I mean, why the hell not? Do cool stuff. That's my thing. If you have all these toys, do something cool with it. So,
Yeah.
finally, I got one last bit of, and well, I guess two bits of like semi important news. One of them is we're gonna call out Marvel for being shitty. Marvel
Again.
must pay. Hashtag Marvel must pay. They've been on some. They are on some bullshit as usual. Disney and Marvel, they're on some bullshit with paying people. Well, apparently, the Hawkeye series that we are going to talk about. The artist that worked on the comic book that it is heavily based on is basically saying that they got nothing for the art. Them using the artwork, or ba- essentially the artwork that he originated. They just wholesale copying it or whatever. He hasn't gotten anything out of that. Um, that's it. He said that, and people are like, we're gonna boycott this because y'all aren't treating the artist right. And we didn't. You and I didn't go that far because, for one, we didn't really know about it, and two, if we did boycott it, would us not watching, us two people not watching it, does it change really anything? But it does. It's important for we put people on blast when it happens. So they're shitty to this one artist, Ladi. Shall we go down and protest?
Listen, man. So sometimes that evil mouse needs to be slapped in the fucking face. And not just the evil mouse, Marvel too needs to be slapped as well. Because at this point, it's not even funny anymore. Because it's getting just just ridiculous. Like, pay these people, man. I mean, what's so hard of paying these people? It's not that hard, man. What just gets me about this whole thing is that these guys, they made something for you for their money, and they're not asking for your. The show got 1.5 million views, man. Come on, guys. In one day, that was opening night. We're not counting what it will get in a week. Come on, man. You can't give that man 1 cent per view. You know what I mean? Like 1 penny per view. You can't give him that because that will lead up to 100,000. I'm pretty sure he won't be mad about that.
Yeah.
It, it, I sometimes sometimes like this is one of the things that I feel like if I was rich, I don't know. It's just like I look at these companies that make so much money, and you just wonder. Like, I understand your whole entire business thing is to make a profit. That I understand that. That is what you as a company want to do. But at a certain point, where does it get to the point that you're just like you have enough money? Just give something small. Or we're not asking you to give the man half, just a penny per view. Like, is that so damn hard?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say like there's doing what's legal and doing what's right, and I imagine that legally speaking, they're probably within the purview of the agreement and the contract the guy signed it. But bitch, you're making big money. Just like break a dude off. That's it. Guy he ain't even really. He's just like he's just letting people know. Hey, pretty sure they the artwork I did they used it. Haven't paid me for you doing it, even though it's I think it may be in my contract and they've been kind of fucking people over because they're small. They're small fries. Like you know they're nobodies. Well, they're not nobodies, but they're not somebodies either. Not big enough to make a big deal. And so we get this boycott. I just want them to just do the right thing. Like be a human being. Stop being slaves to the accountants and to the shareholders, and just be a human being that does right by people. That's all. Just do right by
Yeah.
people. Y'all are making billions of dollars off of this shit. And even if you did, a small chunk of change to every single artist or writer that ever worked on any of these things, you still would have billions of dollars. Like that's the thing is it's not hard to do right by people, and you're still gonna make that money. So, it's just very very disappointing, in general. Um, well, this is a more uplifting. We're gonna end in the news on this uplifting little bit of uh, news where Stellan Skarsgard, who is he's one of my favorite like character actors. He played Doctor Selvig in the Thor movies and also in the first Avengers movie. Uh, he's done a ton of other things. He was just recently in Dune. He's a great actor in general. He's got a couple of two or three sons that are also actors that are also excellent. All that stuff. Anyway, someone was asked him a question about because what's his name? Not Martin Scorsese, of course, was kind of shitting on superhero movies, and then Ridley Scott just recently was just talking shit about superhero movies and about how he thinks they suck and all this other stuff. Um, and but he had something to say, not necessarily directly in response to them, but just in general talking about superhero movies and their place in cinema and whatnot. And he's just basically saying, hey, I have no problem with them. I've been in them. They exist for a reason because they're popular entertainment. And he went on to say like something very insightful, which is essentially that the concentration of power and wealth into a small number of entities like Warner Brothers or Disney or whatever, and
Hmm.
those entities being essentially beholden to shareholders are part of the reason why superhero movies are all so ascending because they're not, they're sure money makers, right?
Yeah.
And smaller cinema and smaller films and all that sort of thing, they are paid for essentially by on the backs of these big blockbusters. But he's just like, hey, why you can't really complain about the market being provided for in this way when it's set up to be that way. And so he's sort of making a pitch towards less concentrated ownership, but also an understanding that superhero movies are fine and they exist for a reason, and that if you want smaller and smaller, more indie films or whatever, there has it can't go through the current model, not the way they used to. When there are more and more distribution companies, more studios. So I was very happy to see a very balanced look at it, and also someone that's just being practical. Like, hey, why sit and shit on some movies that I might be in? Lottie, I feel like he's being reasonable. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like I feel like when it comes to like what's going on right now, I feel like people, because it's easy to talk about and rag on comic book movies, because I feel like it's like this in every type of media. It's like for some reason nerd culture is the easiest thing that everybody wants to hate and pick on. It just is.
I mean, to be fair,
Peop-
sometimes we bring it on ourselves, but yes.
oh yeah, I agree. But it's like, good example. Everyone wants to blame video games for every problem in society. You know what I mean? And it's like the same thing in the movie industry. Everybody, oh man, Marvel. Everybody wants to be in the next Marvel movie. There's no more big budgeted like romance movies. There's no more big budgeted this movies, because right now that's the big thing. I mean,
And also,
let's.
the shits need to make money.
I
Really,
mean,
really,
yes.
Scott was literally just like, oh, those movies are boring as shit, and nobody wants to come watch. The millennials. He's saying the old man are yelling at cloud bullshit about why people didn't want to come see his movie, which was probably good. I've heard The Last Duel was really good. Nobody wanted to fucking see it, but they want to run out and pack theaters for Venom and shit like that. Well, I'm sorry, but people aren't. We're not responsible for wanting to go see and like your fucking movie, and don't blame the audience for the shortcomings in your movie, which again is probably great, but it wasn't. Nobody wants to go see it. Because they want shit that they know and understand, and they don't want to have to like maybe people don't want to be too challenged, but it isn't just like young people. It's just people in general. Shit is not new. This
It's
attitude
like
isn't new.
it's like I said. It's in today's day and age. In today's day and age, it's just the way it is. Movies. I mean, let's just be honest. If we go back to the '90s, let's go back to the late '80s, '90s. What were the only movies that were out at that time? Cop movies. Everything was a cop movie. How do you think actors and movie directors felt at that movie at that time? If you didn't make a cop movie, or you couldn't act in a cop movie, you were SOL. Let's like think back to it, bro. Real thing. Everything was a cop movie. You know what I mean? It just goes. Remember, at one point, everything was vampires. Everything was zombies. Everything was sci-fi. In the '70s, every single thing was sci-fi. '70s and the '80s was sci-fi. It just goes around and comes around. You know what I mean? So, like it just, and right now we're in the superhero dominated era. Eventually it's going to end. I'm not saying superhero movies are never going to be, they're going to die, but eventually it's not going to be as popular. Another genre is going to come up and take over. It might be sci-fi. Sci-fi might make a roaring comeback. You know what I mean? Because let's
I
just be
hope so.
honest. We haven't seen, I think Dune is one of the best sci-fi movies I've seen in a while. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just being honest. We might see another big genre come up and take from what's it called? Marvel. I mean, let's just be honest. Marvel is even expanding from superheroes. I mean, let's like really think about it. I don't care what anybody says. Shang-Chi was not just a superhero movie. It was a celebration of Asian culture. And if you don't see that, you need to be slapped in the fucking face. You do. I'm sorry, you do. You need to be slapped in the fucking face. Guess what
Hopefully
Marvel's?
with a copy of the movie.
Yes. And guess what Marvel's about to come out soon? A Blade movie. What is Blade? Horror. They're not just sticking in one genre anymore. They're not just having people running around in tights anymore.
Yeah.
They're moving into other stuff. And hey, come out with a comic, make something Find a comic book story that you like. If you're a director, there is a comic book out there that is a compelling story that you can make a story of. And if you don't want to do that, make a comic book like movie.
Yeah.
There are people are wanting to see these stories come to life. And I mean, even not just I mean, this is the supercast, but let's be honest. What's another thing that is getting really popular now? Epic fantasy. Epic fantasy has been bigger than it's ever been. People are interested in epic fantasy. Why not make an epic fantasy like thing? You know what I mean? Because that's what Shang-Chi was. Shang-Chi was a mix of Asian, superhero, and epic fantasy all mixed together. And it was just a perfect, and it wasn't like a goulash. It was a perfect peanut butter, jelly, and banana sandwich. You know what I mean? It was perfect. It mixed it all together and made a beautiful sandwich. And you can do the same thing too. You know what I mean? Because this is one of the things that I'm a game designer. I'm working on a game, and I understand what people are into right now. You can work around what people are into and put it into your story. Don't be lazy as a director and just say, "Oh, everybody," because if nobody came to watch your movie, you failed as a movie director. I don't care if it was good or not. You didn't capture the audience that you were going after. There's a reason for that. Stop blaming other people's success for your problems and figure out how to get your audience.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, that's yeah. But I think Stellan Skarsgård, he's on the ball there, and you know, like I said, very even-handed, judicious uh, way to handle the issue. So good on him.
Mhm.
And those other guys are stupid. They're not. They're
Mhm.
great, you know, storytellers and directors, but you know, maybe a little sour grapes going on there. So, all right, that's all of our news, man. That's a. I told you we had a ton to roll through. Um, I'm sure we missed some things. So, if you want to let us know what we missed, or just kind of comment on what we had to say about it, get down to the comment section. Let us know what you're thinking. Of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow at gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And, you know, we'll chop it up. Maybe we'll talk about what it is that you wanted us to mention. All right, so we're moving on. Main topic time. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, and in particular, we got the Hawkeye. We got the new Hawkeye model, replacing the old Hawkeye model, maybe. But that old
Mhm.
Hawkeye still got some tricks up his sleeve. So we've got two Hawkeyes in a pear tree with the new Hawkeye series. How many times can I say Hawkeye? So we're gonna just kind of do a review, slight some non spoilers, and then we'll do some spoiler talk about the first two episodes. Very interesting that they decided to go with two episodes instead of one, like with Falcon and Winter Soldier. There is a reason for it because the Book of Boba Fett premieres at the very end of the very last week of this year. So in order to not step on their toes, and also to sort of go along with the momentum of No Way Home, we got Hawkeye. Um, Lottie. So what is Hawkeye? First of all, what's Hawkeye about? And let me know what you thought about these first couple episodes.
Okay, so basically, Hawkeye is about. Hmm. What is Hawkeye about? So it's I mean it's like a little callback to it's is basically an innocent civilian that's getting caught up in some other girl's bullshit.
Is he
Basically,
really
really.
innocent though? He's I
No,
mean
he's not really innocent. I mean, he is caught. They're both caught up in their own bullshit, but she sort of pulled him into it. And I'm gonna say this: I am a little lukewarm on the show. I enjoyed it. I watched it all the way through, but I felt like maybe I came into it with a little bit too high expectations. I was expecting to like die laughing, and I didn't, and I never really had that moment watching it. The action was good. It's just I feel like some of the parts of the show where I felt like the chick, the character that she's playing, I'm trying to
Something
remember
like
her name.
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop. I felt like there was parts of it where I'm like, why is she mad? And another part that kind of like threw me off is that the people looking for Ronan are common street thugs, and I was just like, like, it kind of was like you know how like you're expecting like epic villain music to play when someone is like, I'm looking for the Ronin, but instead I think I heard a fart sound when I turned around and saw these guys were just like, hey, are you the Ronin? And I'm just like, so these are the people that they sent to go get the Ronin? Mm. The most dangerous villain assassin during the blip? Okay. I don't know. Maybe and think about it is I probably got to watch more episodes of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. It's just I felt like right now it is behind all the other Marvel shows in my opinion. Right
Right.
now.
Right. Yeah. I liked it a lot actually. It's so you. I mean, it's basically it's two different people's. It's two stories that are sort of colliding due to certain circumstances that reintroduced the Ronin to New York, and apparently people knew who Ronin was because I mean Hawkeye was going around killing a bunch of you know criminals basically. He's going around executing organized crime bosses and all and their henchmen and stuff like that. And at the same time, yes, this is it's part about him and sort of he's kind of getting back into the world and he's sort of recovering, I guess you will, still thinking about all that he's gone through, but he's retired from the game and he's got his family that's in New York. He's going, to try to see the what do you call it, the Rogers musical, and then he kind of gets pulled into, as you say, the bullshit that Kate Bishop gets into, and she's a rich girl that witnessed Hawkeye's heroics during the Battle of New York,
Mhm.
inspired her to become a archer and martial artist and whatever. And now she's in her early 20s, she's in college, and she sort of gets involved in some stuff. There's some shady stuff going around with her family. Again, she's a rich girl, and there's you get introduced to her mom, and then who's head of a security firm, and then her mom's fiance. And you were saying, well, why is she so mad? Well, her mom's getting remarried to a guy she clearly knows and isn't fond of, and
Mhm.
without even saying so much about it, but really making it you know, a a surprise to her. So she's yes, she's upset about that she clearly doesn't like the guy, and then she finds out there's some like shadiness going on potentially around her mom and her the fiance and this guy, and she kind of gets swept into like wanting, you can tell she wants to be a superhero, right? She wants to be a hero like Hawkeye, so she decides to do things like she thinks Hawkeye will do. And then this Ronin suit comes up, and then just she steps into she steps into a hell of a lot more trouble than she thought just putting on that, having that suit on. And so the rest of it kind of flows from there. All the enemies that Hawkeye made as Ronin now have a target. And how do you deal with that heat and deal with the legacy of Ronin? And also, yeah, as you were saying, who the tracksuit mafia? What the heck, right?
Yeah.
So I I actually really fucking like this. I love the kind of the way Clint and Kate are building their relation. They don't know each other, but they are working together now, right? I
Yeah.
love that. I love that Clint, he's famous and people know him and everything like that. And it's awesome sometimes, and other times it's annoying as shit. Other times it's not so great. He's also people were like, oh, they're just gonna sideline Clint, and then she's gonna be the most important. Oh, maybe Kate is the most important. Maybe she is getting the mantle handed, but it's pretty clear. Clint's the man. Am I wrong about that? Like every time I saw him, I was like, oh, he's the man. She's getting beat up, and
Well,
he's beating people up.
just real quick, is this the spoiler part of the show?
Well,
I do want to
we
bring up.
don't have to. We can get to it in just a second. All I'm
Okay.
saying is, I really enjoyed the first two episodes. I enjoyed the first episode more than the second one, because the second one is more set up. The first one was giving you the premise. The second one was more set up for things going on later on. There's some like, oh, what does this mean? There's some shenanigans going on. There's some mystery. It's very lighthearted. I thought it was very funny. There's a lot of lightheartedness to it. This is not a heavy show. It's not like, oh, woe is me, my dad's dead, or woe is me, I'm just sulking or whatever. She's really kind of upbeat and wants to be this, you know, she wants to be this the next Hawkeye, even though she hasn't really said it so much. And Hawkeye he treats her like a kid at first, and then he realizes, oh, maybe not. And there's some silliness and yeah, like I said, lightness to the way that this is proceeding, and I'm all there for it. I like Kate a lot. I like what Clint is up to. The tracksuit mafia guys are hilarious to me, and you would think like, why are they such a problem? It's because there's a lot of them. That's why they're a problem. There's a bunch of them, and they apparently are have eyes all over the place, and they have no problem with just rolling up on people. So just overall, I'm enjoying myself, and I can't wait for the next episode. So that's our non-spoiler talk. We are going to get into spoilers right now, so if you don't want to be spoiled, just go watch the show and then come back. Go. So you've been warned. We're going to get into spoilers right about now. Um, so I I'm not huge on some of the characters that are in this in terms of like understanding, but it's pretty clear her future father, stepfather, is like no good, right?
Yeah.
That guy. Not that he sucks, but I did some reading because I can't stand not knowing things. And he definitely is like more than he appears to be. In terms of like his. Remember they were fencing, and
Yeah.
like the dude is like legit. That guy's legit. He's a character that if you know the comics, you'll be like, oh shit, you know. Um, so I mean, I know you were saying you liked the action. I thought that was one of the best. That fencing bit was fun.
Yeah, him pretending. Like my favorite part of the whole entire show was the LARPing part. And he
Yes.
goes like, "Please end me."
He's, I love that the
And
guy was like, "Give me my
it,
moments. Let me have my moments."
I just like how he was just easily just deflecting all the nerves. They're like,
Yeah. It-
that was funny. That was fucking
he
hilarious.
just, what the Hawkeye's just giving off this whole. That's his whole vibe the whole time. Like he's the emoji of or the gif of the guy that's just in was it The Incredibles when he's at work doing
Yeah.
his insurance thing. He's just that guy the whole time.
That was one of my favorite parts of the show. The tracksuit mafia is funny. It's just like these are the people they sent, but hey, like you said, we're probably as the show goes on, they become more and more like, oh, okay, now I see why they sent them. The
Right.
the um the stepdad very uncomfortable. I get a very uncomfortable vibe being around him.
Right.
You know, um. I'm trying to remember what else that I remember from the show that piqued my
I
interest.
love the dog. The Lucky the pizza dog he's
Oh, the one-eyed dog? Yeah,
yeah,
the
he's
one-eyed dog,
great.
yeah.
He's on top of his game. He needs to be in the DC Super Pets. Dang it. One thing I do have a criticism of the show, and this is more about preparation, and it's not. I'm being as judicious about this as possible, but Haley Steinfeld doesn't quite sell some of the action. There's
Yeah,
I don't believe when I watch Scarlett Johansson punch somebody as Black Widow, I believe she's laying a motherfucker out. I don't believe that she's hurting people. It's something about the way she's leaning into her blows or something that don't I don't really see it being seriously hurting anybody.
I
And
agree.
but I think you know, other than that part, I think for the most part, physically speaking, she does do a pretty good job. It's just like some of the fighting when she's not in the when she's clearly it's her and not a stunt person. Like the part where she first puts on the Ronin suit, some parts you see it's her, but when you see it's actually you very clearly a stunt person, it
Oh
looks
yeah,
good.
because see, that's the thing about her that I feel like if she's going to become more and more part of the MCU, I'm not saying she needs to work out, but to get buff, but she needs to fill herself out like how Scarlett Johansson did because literally, like you said, it is very obvious because when she has the Ronin suit on, she looks like a skinny teenage girl. Then when you see her fighting with her back with the camera to her back, you see a muscular woman. You're like, yeah, that's definitely not her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She needs to do better
And
because
this
it
and
it
this is yeah, this is also a function of the directing is but she yes, as her training as she goes on through the years of being Kate Bishop, she'll get better at that. But it's a lot about preparation on her part. I'm confident that she'll get better. I think the action is really where this is shining anyway. I think of course Jeremy Renner is on point. He is absolutely on point through all that. He doesn't really need much in the way of. I mean, I know he has stunt doubles. He doesn't need a ton of it. Um, and so I really enjoyed what he was doing. And I hate. Let me tell you that little. I sometimes I hate when they do like about the TV shows is that they were like, oh, here's the big bad, and we'll see you next week. And I'm like, you fuck,
yeah
you fucks, how dare you? Just you show Echo. Well, that's Echo we saw at the end of the second episode. And they were like,
yeah
well, we'll see you next week. I'm like, God dang it.
I completely agree.
Do we know what the hell this is actually about though? I
The
think
show,
we're two
no.
episodes in, and I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah, that's why when you were like, "What's the show about?" I was just like, "The show's about what is the
I mean,
show about?"
I know the meta story. I know the meta story about how the passing of the torch and whatever. I get that, and I know it's also based on a comic book. It's more closely based on a comic book than most MCU things. I just wonder what is this actually about though? Like
Yeah,
who's we haven't gotten to the point where we know who the hell the bad guys are and what they want. So
yeah.
far, the bad guys seem to just want to kill Ronan, but they clearly aren't the true bad guys uh, at all. Um, also, I what the thing that kind of hooked me into this show is that I love the fact that they did Avengers. They did another perspective of Avengers. I love the shit out of the fact that they showed Kate as a little kid, seeing Hawkeye do something. We personally, as an audience, we saw him do that move of jumping off the building and shooting the grappling arrow, right?
Yeah.
And she saw it from a different perspective, and she was saved by him. And I really kind of loved that was the catalyst for her as a character.
And I like how they clearly know that movie came out almost 10 years ago. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
clearly know that movie came out almost 10 years ago. They're not trying to say, "Oh, that movie came out like in the MCU storyline like 3 years ago." No, they're clearly trying to show that this movie came out about 10 years ago.
and also it kind of opened up the idea that finally we see a hero that besides the ones that were in it, so were in Endgame that lives through the snap. I think Kate Bishop was around during the snap during the 5 year gap
Yeah.
because she's grown. She's in college, you
Yeah.
know, and she wasn't disappeared. And that's I find that interesting. I just want them to actually make that fucking matter. You know, you notice like in Shang Chi, do we know? I'm almost certain Shang Chi lived through the snap. Like he was here. There, they don't really say much about it though. You know, but
Yeah, you're actually right.
and I'm curious about like is that going to matter at all? There was a little more about Hawkeye sort of dealing with his celebrity, like the guy wanting the fucking selfie in the bathroom, right? And
Fucking
also
weirdo.
just like being sort of annoyed at like at the musical. He's like, I'm here for this, but like I'm not here for this.
Yeah.
It's I like the musical part. I just was laughing the whole time. I was like, that sounds like someone making a musical out of some shit. You know, made me think of them like saying, "Let's make a Harry Potter musical. That's a good idea." Or let's make a Spider-Man musical. That's a good idea. It was yeah, it was pretty. It's very cringy to me in my mind. So there wasn't a ton of like really spoilery things in here. It was just I think it was just a really good. If I was gonna say it, since it's 6 episodes, clearly that was the first act of the movie. So we know whoever we know who the principal characters are, what they're up to, and now they're gonna have to deal with Echo in the next episode. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm I'm sorry that you didn't have as good an experience with it as I did, but I just had a really great time with it, and I'm looking forward to the next episode, which comes out in a couple days. So, anything else
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
add? Anything else you want to add on there?
Uh, no, that really it.
Just get better. It's in your mind. Get better, y'all.
Yeah, I just want to see. I feel I'm very confident that the show's going to get better. I'm not
Yeah,
worried about that.
yeah, yeah. Same. So, anyway, those are our spoilery thoughts. Not a like I said, not a ton of spoilers, but we had some. And um, what did you guys think about the show if you watched it? And what do you think about our comments on it? Let us know down in the comments or hit us up, supernotfunnyshow at gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And we'll chop it up talking about Hawkeye. And while you are in the clicking mood, why don't you do us a favor, get down there, hit that subscribe button, join the Super Not Funny Show family. We would love to have you. And of course, you can hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Doing all sorts of things around here, mostly podcasts, but we're about to get into some more reviews and all that fun stuff. And of course, the Super Not Funny Show Supercast does not work if it's just me. I need the insight and the comedic stylings of my friend Ladi. Ladi, why don't you let them know where they can reach you on social media?
Oh yeah, you can definitely find me on my Instagram. It is Anu Kinihun. It is spelled ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. I upload many videos of stuff that I'm working on and also pictures. And of course, you could also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is KeenyHoon25. I'm gonna start streaming. About to go back to heavy streaming again of games. I just bought the Guardians game. So of course you're a subscriber to Supercast. You like superheroes. So you get to see me play the game of on the I don't know if I'm gonna play it on the hardest difficulty, but I'm gonna play it on a challenging difficulty. And of course I also bought Deathloop. So stay tuned for those streams. Leave a like, leave a comment, and of course subscribe.
Absolutely. Go show Lottie some love, you guys. All right, so this has been episode 28 of the Super Not Funny Show Supercast. Join us next week, episode 29. We're going to be talking about episode 3 of Hawkeye. And of course, more news, more speculation, all that fun stuff that you guys come here to enjoy. Until then, I have been Mode Poupe, your resident fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the video game designer, anime expert, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.